Have you ever noticed that the most interesting product launches aren't the ones that completely surprise us? They're the ones where we spend months looking at leaks, rumors, blurry photos, insider reports, and endless speculation, only to finally see the official announcement and realize that the reality is somehow even more interesting than the rumors. That's exactly what just happened with the DJI Pocket 4P. After months of speculation, it's finally official. No more leaked screenshots. No more guessing games, no more trying to decode social media posts from overseas. DJI has officially unveiled the Pocket 4P, and now that we know exactly what it is, I think it's safe to say this is one of the most important pocket camera launches DJI has ever had. But what's fascinating is that the biggest question surrounding this camera isn't whether it's good. The biggest question is whether most people actually need it. For years, the Pocket camera lineup followed a fairly predictable formula. Each generation improved image quality, stabilization, tracking, battery life, and software features. The cameras became more refined, more polished, and more capable, but fundamentally, they all approached content creation in the same way. You had one lens, one perspective, and one way of seeing the world. If you wanted something different, you either moved your feet, cropped the image, or switched to a completely different camera.
That's why creators have been asking DJI for a telephoto lens for so long. It wasn't really about zoom, it was about creative freedom.
People wanted more options, they wanted better looking portraits, they wanted more cinematic travel shots. They wanted a camera that felt less like a single tool and more like multiple cameras in one compact package. With the Pocket 4P, DJI has finally delivered exactly that. The biggest headline feature is undoubtedly the dual camera system. At the center of the setup is a 1-inch sensor paired with a 20mm equivalent lens. DJI claims impressive dynamic range performance thanks to its new imaging technology. And while those numbers sound incredibly ambitious for a device that still fits comfortably inside a pocket, what's more interesting is what sits beside that main sensor. For the first time in the Pocket lineup, DJI has included a dedicated telephoto camera featuring a 60mm equivalent focal length. On paper, that might sound like a simple specification upgrade, but in practice, it fundamentally changes how creators can use the camera. Suddenly, you're no longer limited to the traditional wide-angle perspective that has defined pocket cameras for years. Think about how many situations become easier with a dedicated telephoto lens. Portraits immediately appear more natural because facial features aren't distorted by an ultra-wide perspective. Product shots look cleaner and more professional. Travel footage gains a more cinematic appearance. Even simple B-roll sequences become more dynamic because you're able to alternate between perspectives without changing equipment. That's why I believe the telephoto lens is the most important addition to this camera, not because it lets you zoom further, but because it changes how stories can be told. Instead of seeing the world through a single viewpoint, creators now have options, and options create opportunities. Beyond the dual camera setup, DJI has packed the Pocket 4P with features that clearly target serious creators. The addition of D-Log 2 recording with 10-bit color provides significantly more flexibility during post-production. Color grading enthusiasts finally have more room to push and shape their footage without quickly running into limitations. Combined with high frame rate recording at up to 4K 240 frames per second, upgraded subject tracking, enhanced multi-person tracking, live streaming support, webcam functionality, and substantial onboard storage, the Pocket 4P feels less like a casual content creation device and more like a legitimate filmmaking tool that happens to fit in your pocket. And yet, despite all those impressive upgrades, I think the most interesting conversation surrounding this launch has nothing to do with the camera itself. It has to do with where it fits within DJI's own lineup. Because here's the reality, many people watching this video probably purchased a Pocket 4 not long ago. They saw the improvements, upgraded their gear, and believed they were buying DJI's latest and greatest pocket camera. Then rumors of the Pocket 4P started appearing. Now it's official, and naturally, some owners are wondering if they made the wrong decision. Personally, I don't think they did. One of the biggest mistakes people make when comparing products is assuming that newer automatically means better. In reality, newer often means more specialized. Think about smartphones for a moment. Every year, flagship manufacturers release premium versions with additional features. Those features are fantastic for the people who need them, but millions of users continue buying the standard versions because they already do everything required for their daily lives. I think the Pocket 4P falls into a similar category. If your workflow benefits from a telephoto lens, if you regularly shoot products, portraits, travel content, documentaries, or cinematic footage, then the Pocket 4P offers meaningful advantages. But if your content primarily consists of everyday vlogs, family videos, casual travel clips, and general social media content, the standard Pocket 4 remains an incredibly capable tool. That's why I don't see the Pocket 4P as a replacement for the Pocket 4. I see it as an expansion of the lineup. It's designed for a different type of creator. And honestly, I think that's something many people are overlooking because they're focusing too heavily on feature comparisons rather than actual use cases. Owning a telephoto lens doesn't automatically improve your content if your workflow rarely benefits from it. The best camera isn't always the one with the longest feature list. It's the one that aligns with the way you actually create. Of course, no product launch is perfect, and there are a few areas where DJI may have disappointed some users. One of the most obvious concerns is vertical video. Short-form content continues to dominate online platforms, and creators have been requesting better native vertical recording options for years. Whether you're creating content for Shorts, Reels, TikTok, or other vertical-first platforms, this format matters more today than ever before. That's why many people expected DJI to make vertical content creation a major focus of the Pocket 4P. While the camera certainly supports modern content workflows, some creators may still feel that DJI stopped short of fully embracing the realities of today's social media landscape. There's also some confusion surrounding image quality expectations. Much of the marketing discussion has centered around the impressive dynamic range claims, but it's important to remember that the primary imaging powerhouse remains the main camera. The telephoto lens exists to provide creative flexibility rather than identical performance. Some viewers seem to assume they're getting two cameras with exactly the same imaging characteristics, but different focal lengths. In reality, that's rarely how compact camera systems work. The telephoto camera expands creative possibilities, but the primary sensor will still be the preferred choice whenever lighting conditions become challenging. Pricing is another area where DJI may have surprised people. Based on earlier rumors, many expected the Pocket 4P to launch at a significantly higher price point. Instead, DJI appears to have positioned it competitively, especially considering the included accessories and feature set. When compared to the capabilities being offered, the pricing feels more reasonable than many anticipated. And that's important because the market DJI operates in today looks very different from the one it dominated a few years ago. For the first time in a long time, DJI faces genuine competition. Products like the Insta360 Luna Ultra are bringing fresh ideas to the pocket camera category. Features like detachable displays, modular accessories, head tracking systems, and entirely new content creation workflows are forcing the industry to evolve. Rather than responding with gimmicks, DJI has chosen to double down on what it does best: image quality, reliability, ecosystem integration, and creative flexibility. And honestly, that's probably the right strategy. Competition benefits everyone. It pushes companies to innovate faster, listen more carefully to user feedback, and deliver better products. The Pocket 4P exists because the market has become more competitive, and creators are the ones who ultimately benefit from that competition. The final unanswered question revolves around global availability. While the Pocket 4P is now official, many creators around the world are still waiting for details regarding international launches. We know the specifications, we know the pricing, we know the bundles, but many potential buyers still don't know when they'll actually be able to purchase one in their own country. Until DJI provides those answers, excitement will continue to be mixed with frustration. After months of rumors, leaks, and speculation, the Pocket 4P is finally real. And after looking at everything DJI has announced, I think they've accomplished exactly what they needed to accomplish. They didn't try to reinvent the Pocket camera. Instead, they evolved it in meaningful ways. They listened to one of the biggest requests from creators and delivered a product that offers more flexibility, more creative options, and more professional features than any Pocket camera before it. The only thing left to decide is whether those new capabilities genuinely fit the way you create content. Because at the end of the day, the best camera isn't always the most advanced one. It's the one that helps you tell your stories better.